Welcome to chair yoga. So if you are new to doing yoga on a chair, there are some fundamentals, which is what I'm going to cover today. And if you've done yoga before on the chair, you may want to skip this and move into something deeper. But this is going to also be a nice basic sort of range of motion warm-up short practice. So let me start with the basics. When we sit all day long, wherever we're sitting, we're generally back in a chair that's not so supportive, generally, and we tend to sort of fold forward. We're collapsed down. It's like we surrender to gravity pressing down on us. Our back rounds in a not healthy way, this way, okay? And our upper back curls down, our shoulders roll forward, our chest is tight, and our core, there is nothing going on. So in chair yoga, the idea is we want to change all that. So the first thing to do is to come to the front of a chair. Now, these are pretty much yoga chairs. They're also chairs that you use when you see that when you go out to events and they bring out extra chairs. These are the kinds of general folding chairs. You may use a dining room chair or any chair with a firm surface. All right, so when you come sitting to the front of the chair, what that prevents, for the most part, is you kind of rolling into this collapsed position. So when you sit at the front, you almost have to sit up because it doesn't feel good otherwise, and that's a good thing. And if you have your feet slightly forward of your knees, so this is your feet back of your knees, which is the collapsed position. It's easier, don't want to do it. This is your feet underneath of your knees, which encourages you to sit upright. This is your feet slightly more forward, which really encourages you to sit upright. So I encourage you to sit upright with your feet slightly forward and hips distance apart, which I'll show you in a minute when I transfer to facing you. And so when you're sitting upright, you have the nice natural inward curve of your low back. You have the lift that comes from your chest bone, your breastbone, and your collarbones. And again, I'll point these out when I'm facing you as well. And can you see that the top of my head, crown of my head, is right over the base of my pelvis. So my torso, is nice and long. And that's what we want. Because simply, if you were to sit like this for 10 minutes regularly, you're going to start strengthening the muscles of your back. You'll feel deep inside that the deeper ab muscles are working. You won't be tight on the front. That's your surface abs. That's what you get when you do the old style curls. That's just the surface layer of abs. You want to get to the deeper abs on the sides and deep in the front. And they all connect to the back as well. Everything integrates. So you want to have all of this working so that you're sitting upright. And just doing that is going to start to strengthen you. So this pose is called seated mountain. Okay, seated mountain, Tadasana on a chair. And Tadasana is the Sanskrit name for mountain pose. So this is seated mountain. It's also sometimes called seated easy pose on a chair. All right, so that's the basics about how to sit. And I'll be transferring between the two depending on the action that I want you to see, so you can see it better. So now let me move over, so I'm facing you. When you sit on a chair, you want a chair grounded on a mat or a not slippery surface, all four legs of the chair. All right, so, and I can put my feet forward and not on the mat because I'm not going to be standing up like this. I'm doing everything seated. So I'm sitting now in seated mountain. All right, so we're sitting upright. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to just close the eyes for a minute and focus on the breath. Why do we do that? Because in yoga, the first thing we do is we take what is called a good seat, sitting upright, lengthened, opened up as much as we can, which we do on the chair by sitting towards the front with the feet slightly forward. The next thing we want to do is to go inside and feel our breath, notice where it's moving, and sense that as that breath moves, things are happening inside. And as we notice that, we get in touch with what's going on in us. We're not thinking about all the stressors going on in and around us, and there are many right now. We're coming back to where we can feel what's going on inside, outside, and around us, right here, just with us. And yoga is about mind and body. So we come to the body, we set up nice, and then we're coming into the breath, which helps to slow down this thinking mind where the stressors tend to really go wild, yeah? All right, so the first thing before we close our eyes, if this is accessible to you, if it's comfortable to you, you can place your left hand on, place the left hand up on your breastbone, your chest bone, that's that flat area there. Then find the two collarbones, you can touch them. So your energy here is to lift up, all right? And then you can place the hand there and just notice whatever movement happens as you breathe. If it's accessible to you, the right hand can come just above your belly button. And then if you're like this, that's not comfy. So soften your elbows down. So you're sitting up right now. And again, if this is not comfy, put your hands back on your thighs and just notice what you notice without using the hands. So left hand on your heart center area. Your heart is more over to your left side, but we're going to be going here. All right, and then the right hand is around a little bit in it. I'm shorter, so it's only an inch or two above your belly button. So see where that works for you and let your elbows relax. And then close your eyes or softly focus in, meaning just sort of looking down about 10 feet in front of you so that you're not engaged in the active sense of seeing. All right, so then close your eyes or soften your eyes. And then we breathe in yoga through the nose, just a nice, gentle inhale as you breathe through the nose, noticing whatever movement you sense in your body. And then as you exhale, again, noticing where you feel movement inside you and outside. So just a few breaths here. Inhale, pardon me. The inhale, we're bringing in energy and air from outside. We're actually bringing in energy in the form of what we call prana or chi. And then as you exhale, you let go of the air you've already used and you just make space for the next breath. So inhale, notice what you feel. Exhale, notice what you feel. And then one more time. Nice, just gentle inhale. And a gentle exhale. And then please bring your palms together. You can open your eyes now if you want to see what I'm doing. Bring your palms together in front of your heart center. Thumbs or base of the thumbs are sort of maybe touching your heart area. Fingertips are together pointing upwards. And this is a gesture of centering, of coming together, and of balance. Really good for these times. All right, and then you may close your eyes again and just notice now how it feels to breathe. Just bringing a little awareness to your breath. And as we become more aware of the breath, it starts to be gentler. It slows down a little bit. And the slower our breath is, the more relaxed our body is and our mind as well. And then we're going to start with one Om, which you can chant or simply listen to. An Om is the sound of all vibration. It's the sound of this deep sort of pulsation or vibration that's in every part of our universe. Our heartbeats, all of our cells pulsate. Even things that seem inanimate have a deep resonance to them. So this Om, this ah, oo, all these three little syllables that sort of meld together, just connect us to feeling in our body, to lengthening and softening our exhale, and to connecting us together with all of life. So, in preparation to Om, please exhale fully and then inhale. And then please exhale one more time. And then after your next inhale, please join me or simply listen. And then with your next exhale, please release your hands back to the tops of your thighs. Softly open your eyes and welcome. All right, so then after you've been sitting for a minute, you can do what we call just sort of the seated windshield wiper pose. You're just kind of moving the legs back and forth. This feels good to the hips, good to the legs, especially when you've been sitting for a minute or two, as we have. All right, so now let's do a few shoulder openers, and then we're going to come to the feet. So since we're sitting, just bring your hands by your side and just lift up your shoulders a little bit, and then as you exhale, release them. So inhale, breathe in, shoulders lift, exhale. You can even open your mouth to exhale. All right, do that 2 more times. Inhale up, and 1 more time. Inhale up. All right, so gentle, just opening the shoulders a little bit with the neck. So let's do a few other shoulder openers. Place your hands to the tops of the shoulders. If you have shoulder issues that doesn't work for you, you can place your hands even on your thighs again. And all we're going to do is inhale, lift the elbows up to wherever you can. No need to come way up here. We tend to stiffen the neck when we do. So just inhale to about as high as your shoulders. And then exhale, bring your elbows out to the side and back around. So what you're doing is making little circles with your elbows. And you can coordinate it with your inhales coming up and exhales coming around. And inhale coming up and exhale coming around. Or you can simply just move in a way that feels right for you today. So we're getting a little more range of motion into the shoulders. Good. And then 1 more time. Inhaling up and exhaling, coming back around. We call this chicken wings. Yeah. So oftentimes the names of poses in yoga resemble something in nature or something familiar to us, like tables and things like that. All right, so we call this chicken wings. Sorry, vegetarians. All right, so then let's do another little bit. So put your hands right here on your hips. All right, so your waist is kind of here. Your hips are just a little bit lower. So wherever it's comfy. And again, if you have shoulder issues, just keep your hands closer to your side. If it's hard for you to lift up, that's just fine. What we're going to work on is just moving a little bit in your torso. Yeah? Your hips and legs stay where they are. We call this washing machine, at least the old ones with the agitators, right? So you're just doing a little bit. This warms up your low back a little bit. It's opening up your chest area a little bit, and it's starting to get a little bit into the hips and pelvis. Feels good, doesn't it? Good. All right, and then let's do a few foot warm-ups. Okay, so why do we want to warm up the feet? The feet are our grounding. They're our connection to the earth. When we're feeling stressed, we seem to feel kind of pulled up. We don't walk as firmly on our feet. So the more that we can get in touch with our feet, have our feet open and more mobile and spread a little more so they make firm contact with the earth, the better it is for us, the better we feel, the better our legs are, the better our hips are, everything. So it's a good thing to do. All right, now, I'm just going to show you this. We won't spend a lot of time, but if you have a tennis ball or any sort of ball at home, a fun thing to do is to simply sit in your chair, keeping the legs just the same as they were on this left leg, and you can just roll this right foot, the ball back and forth. It's easier if you're on the mat here, since I'm demoing with the mat this way. There we go. So it's easier. You're just going to go back and forth, maybe a little side to side. And if you don't have a ball, that's fine. We're going to warm up with the hands in a minute. But if you do, you can just go back and forth. We're talking like 20 seconds or so at least, maybe a little longer. You could actually do it for much longer, and you could step on it and do other things. But that's another, I'll go into a little bit more of that later on, but just so that you can see. So that's one way to warm the feet. The next way that we'll do it is also going to help to open the hips and the legs. So if you're able, cross your right ankle above your left knee. okay? If you're not able to do that because of hip issues, if you have prosthetics or other things that makes it more difficult, you might not do that. In which case, you may, if you have a block or a thick book, you could put that down in front of you. Bring your left foot onto that and cross your right over. And you can even take it a little more forward so that you're up on the heel of the left foot and you're crossing the ankle of the right. And then what you're going to do while we're working with our hands through the feet is you're going to be working the feet a little bit. You can make some little ankle circles. You can flex, that's a flex, and extend, that's an extend. Just don't point your toes. That tends to cramp the foot. All right. So that's an alternative if you don't, or if you weren't able to cross one or both legs. All right. And then keep this left leg forward. All right. Hold onto the chair with your right for support and have your hand a little bit further back than your hip. So if you need it. If not, you can hold on to the ankle. And then you're going to take the left fingers, interlace them through the toes. And then you're just kind of moving the ball of the foot back and forth for a few times. And then you're going to make little ankle circles in one direction and others. And notice the creaking that goes on. Very normal. So it happens as we move into places we haven't moved for a while, right? Come on back, spread your toes as much as you're comfortable. And interestingly enough, if you can spread your toes and take your hands out and your toes don't immediately glom shut, that's a good thing. That means you have some space. And yoga is about creating space in the body. All right, so then once you've done that, then you can stretch the top of the foot. So what you want to do here is to line the knee and the front of the lower leg, your shin bone, right up so that it comes down between the second and third toe. What you don't want to do is that. Can you see that? It's called a sickled foot, like a sickle, yeah? And that overstresses the outer ankle, not good. And you're tightening the inside. So you want to keep it nice and in line. All right, and then stretch the top of the foot by taking the toes down towards the heel. That feels good. Good, come on back and stretch the sole of the foot by pressing the toes away. All right, then come on back and then do the toe turn and pull. So you can be as gentle or as vigorous. You're just kind of pulling and shaking. And this is, again, creating some space in the joints of the toes. And you have joints there, so you need space. All right, and then notice, have you slumped down? Can you sit upright as you're doing this? All right. Now, we're going to massage the feet a little bit. So thumbs along the bottom, thumbs along the bottom, and fingers across the top. And just like you're pulling taffy, like it's a massage, feels really good. All right, and so you create this little massage action. And then you can clap. Thank you very much. And then you can drum roll. So this is all about warming up the feet. We're getting blood flow in here. We're warming up what's called the fascia, among other things. Good, and then you can do what we call, with your fist closed, a little compassionate pound. All right, then with your fist, you're going to take the knuckles and go back and forth down the center of the foot, again, to create a little cross fiber opening in the fascia underneath of the foot, which tends to get tighter on us if we have high-end steps and many other things. Get a little older, it gets tighter too. Just a fact, yeah? All right, then once we've done that, then if you're able, you're going to hold onto your ankle. Now you're not trying to move your foot by moving the foot. You want the ankle and the foot to hang, and then maybe you wave to your neighbor with your feet, yeah? And see how much mobility you have there. All right, then if you'd like, you can take it out to the side and back. This is a hip opener. We call it hip hip hooray. All right, then bring the leg back, and if you I'm looking at my video, and I go, oh my gosh, look how much lighter this right leg is, the lower leg, as compared to the left. And then take a look at it, and you'll look. The veins on the top of the right foot are softer. They've moved deeper into your body. On the left, they're more on the surface. Your foot is redder, likely, you know, that's kind of a cold sort of a look. And then the veins are a deeper blue, and they're right on the surface. So this one doesn't have as much energy. This one is. So let's make it even. All right, let's do the same thing on the other side. So cross the left ankle above the right. By the way, as we're opening the hips, the warming up the feet, we're opening the hips. All right, so again, interlace your right fingers through the left toes from the underneath. All right, and then this ball of the foot, we want to just move it back and forth, side to side, because that's the part of your foot that you want more mobile. Because when you walk, there's movement there. And if it's stiffer, your gait is going to be thrown off. Good. All right, then make some little ankle circles in one direction and in the other direction. Come on back and spread your toes as wide as you can. And once you know how to do this, you can go through it in a couple of minutes. All right, then take your fingers out again. See if these toes stay wide. Good. All right, and then again, lining up the knee with the center of the ankle and the foot. I'm going to stretch the whole top of the foot. It just feels good. These are things that we don't do normally, so they feel really good. All right, and then press the ball of the foot away. So like you're trying to press the toes back towards the front of the leg, the shin. Come on back, toe turn and pull. You know, if you have arthritis in the toes, you're going to be gentle here. So I have arthritis on the big toe here, so I don't pull that little guy much. All right, then come on back and let's massage. All right, so again, fingers across the top, thumbs on the bottom. By the way, you can spend a lot of time doing this or you can go through it quickly. It's your choice. That's a good thing about yoga. You have choices, yeah? All right, and then clap, drum roll, compassionate pounding. We don't want to be hard. Is this just bringing blood flow, yeah? And then knuckles, we call this noogie. My brother, bless his heart, used to get this little noogie motion on the top of my head when we were younger. Oh gosh, it used to hurt. But that's what brothers do to you, don't they? At least when you're younger. Good. And then come on back, and then you can wave to your neighbors. Good, and then hip, hip, hooray. Good, come on back, and there you go. So you warmed up the feet a little bit, and guess what you can do again? You can do, it's harder to go from side to side. I like to just kind of do it like that. You know, it's funny. If you look at children, they do these kinds of things all the time. They do what their body asks. So it's kind of cool as an adult to be going, yeah, this just feels good. Good. All right, so we did a foot opener, hip opener, we did some shoulder warm-ups. All those things are good. Now let's warm up the spine a little more with some cat-dog tilts. All right, so your hands can be on your thighs, and this is sort of a, your hands will be coming forward and back, even as you stay upright. All right, and then I'm going to show you this one from the side, so you can see what's going on in the spine. All right, so my feet are forward, I'm sitting on the edge of the chair, crown of the head over the pelvic floor. I'm not slumping. Yeah? That just feels better. All right, so then my hands are here on my thighs. All right, and then as I inhale, I'll bring my hands back, elbows close to my side body, and I'm just going to come a little forward as I lift this heart center. I'm not trying to do, this is a back bend. Your back is going curving like this. I don't want to go really much. All right, and then as you exhale, your hands are here. As you exhale, your hands come forward. Now, watch here. I'm not going like that. That's how we live. We don't need to do that. Plus, if you have back issues, which I do, that just doesn't feel good. So as you inhale, you come up, hands are back, and then as you exhale, you're coming back just a little bit. You're still keeping the chest open. You're not dropping the head. This is going to go deeper into your core again. Everything in chair yoga that I teach has to do with strengthening the core. Because in my experience in teaching 20 years, most all of us need a lot more strength. It's not that you don't want to be flexible, but when you're strong, your muscles have support and you can be more flexible. If you're not strong, when you're pushing into a stretch, you're really usually overstretching connective tissue, meaning ligaments and tendons, and you know, those kinds of things are not really what we want to do. So we want to be gentle as we do this. All right, so this is the cow, my bad, and that's the cat. All right, so cow on your inhale, cat on the exhale. And you can do those for a while. Those just feel good. So that's cat-cow. And see, it warms up the spine. You're also getting into the hip joints, into the shoulders. Multi-purpose poses, always good. All right, so then we want to do, all right, so we did that. All right, so now let's do a little, I'm just going to stay here. I want you to see these from the side. All right, so these are some basics, basically some joint warm-ups and so forth. All right, so now from here, you can bring your hands forward and interlace your fingers. All right, and then if you're able, you turn your hands out and my elbows stay bent. All right, so from here, I'm going to inhale. All right, now again, shoulder issue people, you may not go very high. You may go here, especially if you have frozen shoulder and so forth. You might even be lower. That's okay. You just work on opening your heart. If you're able to come up, you're going to bring your hands to in front of either your mouth, if you like to see your eyes, or just in front of your eyes or your forehead. If you want to see me, you're taking it just in front of your forehead. All right, then, as you do that, draw your arm bones back into the arm sockets. What I sometimes say is draw your armpits back. So with your hands here, elbows stay soft. As you inhale, draw your armpits back. And if that feels okay, you can raise your hands just another inch. Woohoo! That's going to get into your upper arms. It's going to work your back. And as long as you keep the elbows bent, it's really going to be effective at opening all the chest and strengthening the arms and strengthening the back. Good, exhale, come back down. Now I'll show it to you from the front, all right? So we'll do it one more time. So interlace your fingers again. And if your right index finger is on top, and this is one of the hardest things, right? So if your right index finger is on top, now just shift it so your left index finger is on top. Make sense? And if that's too difficult or doesn't work for you, don't worry about it. Okay, feet are forward again. Let me move the blocks out of the way. There we go. Good. Take a nice breath in. And again, you're pressing away, but you're keeping a bent elbow. Because if you straighten the elbow tight, usually you're using your neck muscles for this. And our necks are tight enough as it is. Necks and shoulders, up tight. All right, so take a nice breath in. Take your hands up to a place where it's comfortable. Good, and then as you inhale, draw your armpits back. It's not a big move. It's a soft, subtle move, but very powerful. And you just stay here for maybe 1 or 2 nice breaths. So in yoga, it's not necessarily that we count. Some people I think do, but I don't count. I don't like to count. So instead, I just look at my breath. So you breathe a breath or 2. Yeah? Good. On your exhale, bring your hands back down, undo them, turn them away, shake them out. So that was a little bit more, oh, yeah, feel it in your deltoid, your biceps, and your triceps. Yeah, which is a good thing. All right, so those are, let me see what else I have here for you. Good. All right, so let's now just do a few things with the legs, and that'll be good for getting us a little bit warmed up today, sort of a basic overview. All right, so now, sitting in the chair, take your right foot forward, and as you inhale, lift your left arm up. All right, this is alternate arm and leg on a chair. All right, and then exhale, bring your right leg and left arm back. And then inhale, step your left leg out, right arm up. Good, exhale, bring it back. All right, so you can do that several times, or you can make it a little more interesting. So I'm gonna take the right leg forward, and inhale, lift it 1 inch or 2. You don't have to straighten the leg. As a matter of fact, I think it can be more effective if you don't. Let's see. And then you inhale, lift this left arm up. You're gonna be working to strengthen this thigh. You're gonna feel it all over the place in the leg, yeah? And if you want to, you can take both legs, arms up, but don't fall off the chair. Good, exhale, bring your hands and arms back down. Good, then inhale, take your left leg out, maybe lift it 1 inch or 2, and again, if that bothers you anywhere, back, hips, keep your foot on the ground. And then inhale, right arm up. And if you feel like it, party, both arms up, yeah? And if you notice, the hands and arms are what we call in the forward plane. I don't really want to go here. Most people are going to tighten the neck to do it. So be here, where you keep the arm bone in the shoulder side. Good, exhale, come back down. By the way, you'll see different instructions for doing all of it. They're all good, all right? All of us teach similar things slightly differently. It's okay. So find what works for you, and that's what yoga is all about. What works for you and what seems to make you feel better, yeah? All right, so that we did alternate. Good. All right, so now the next one I want to show you, and then we're just going to come for quiet for a minute. All right, so this is called chair. I learned this a long time ago from the Duke Integrated Medicine folks, yoga for seniors, Carol Krukoff, and her partner friend, yeah? I'm losing it right now, but all right. So what we'll do is we're gonna lean forward, and again, I'm not slumping down. I'm leaning forward with this nice extended, what we call neutral spine. All right, and then you can bring your feet back a little bit. Now, if you have knee issues, if you have prosthetics, you're not going to be able to do this the same way. I'll show you an adaptation. All right, so what we're looking for is you lean forward. This is a forward fold. You hinge at the hips in the forward fold, not at the low back. You hinge at the hips. You're going to press into the legs and lift your bottom an inch or two. And buddy, that's some work. Good, exhale, come back down. Make sure the chair hasn't moved. I used to have to check that for the longest time, but now I know it doesn't move. Good, that's once. All right, second time. Inhale as you lean slightly forward, and exhale, press into the legs. Come on. Good, exhale, come back down. All right, so now, inhale, lift your heart, come slightly forward. Exhale, press into the legs, come up. And exhale even more, and come straight up. All right, now, if you're not able to do that now, and again, prosthetic lower legs, upper legs, you're not going to necessarily be able to do this without your hands. If you don't have enough core strength or leg strength, again, you'll use your hands. So what you can do is you can use momentum to start to feel. You can use the chair. So momentum meaning you start back here and come forward. Even that is going to start to strengthen your thighs so that in time you can lift up and you can do it with no hands and then you can come all the way up. So that's the goal. So chair is a good way to get to standing. Now, if you need more support, again, you might have a chair set up in front of you. And again, if you have dining room chairs, this might be a possibility. All right, so that as you're coming forward, you have something to hold on to, especially if your balance is a little bit off, or if you have prosthetic lower limbs. All right, so having something close to you is a really good thing. All right, now, having said that, we finished with symmetrical. We're just going to quiet for just a minute and then just close our eyes to finish this little segment today. I'm not going to do a long Shavasana. Shavasana is the last pose of class before you come back and just assess. And it's what that means from Sanskrit, the language of yoga, is corpse pose. And although that may sound a little gross, it's really not. The idea is that you let go, you die off, if you will, all that old stuff. Let go of anything in your mind. Let go of anything that's bothering you. And make space for all the new things that you're learning and doing in yoga and in life. Yeah? So we're just going to come back with our hands on our thighs for a minute and close our eyes and simply notice whatever we notice. Perhaps you notice your breath. Mine always slows down more after doing yoga because my body senses that things are quieter. Quieter meaning more settled. So notice your breath. Maybe you notice your heartbeat. I feel my pulse. Notice how it feels to sit up right now. How firmly your feet are on the floor. And simply noticing is what yoga meditation is about. Just being here, right now. Connected to our body, to our breath. And nothing else to do, just notice. And then to complete our little short class today, please bring your palms together in front of your heart center as we did at the initial pose. Right? This pose of gathering, this pose of gratitude, this pose of centering. And we can just give thanks for the space and the technology and the practice of yoga that can bring us together for these moments of respite in times of stress. Yoga is simple. You, your body, your breath. And there's always some yoga that everybody can do. So, If you would like to join me in one final Om, you may, or you may simply listen. So, in preparation, please exhale fully and then inhale. Then exhale one more time, and after your next inhale, feel free to join me. Namaste. And namaste is Sanskrit, and it's how we close a yoga class. And it simply means when the light in me meets the light in you, we honor each other and we become as one. So, namaste. And as I always say to all my classes, namaste, y'all. So, I hope you enjoyed. And I'll be posting more like this over these next weeks as we establish new yoga studios in the Zoom rooms. So namaste and thank you for coming. And bye.